Today we're going to look at the Arto chart. It's a simple cable, but it's a great introduction for those of you who haven't used a chart before or afraid to use a chart. The first thing you need to look at on a chart is, especially in a Barocco chart, is the how to use chart. In this one, it tells you that you begin at point A, work to C, which is here on the other end. I have the zoom feature on because it's going to be much easier to see right now. And then repeat between B and C twice. So you start at A and go from B to the end, B to the end, B to the end. Good to know. For our demonstration here, we're just going to use the chart once. The other thing to look for is the row numbers. Here on the right is row number 1. And because it's on the right-hand side, we know that the first row is a right side row. If it were on the left-hand side, the number 1 were on the left-hand side, the first row would be a wrong side row. Most charts have it first row be the right side row, but not all. I've already cast on 51 stitches, and I'm going to demonstrate the chart. As I talk about the chart, we'll demonstrate. So first, let's look row 1. I want to use my handy sticky here. This helps me keep my place. I put it under the row I'm working on. And the first symbol here is a square. I look over here and I see that the square says purl on right side, knit on wrong side. I can actually look at the couple first symbols here. The next one, it looks like a little chevron, and that means KTBL, means knit through back loop. If you're having any trouble with any of the abbreviations, we have them all on our website, www.barocco.com. So knit through back loop on right side and purl through back loop on wrong side. The blank square is knit on right side, purl on wrong side. So I'm on the right side, I'm going to worry about the right side, and then we'll worry about the cable when we get to it. So here we go. I'm on a right side row, purl 2, knit 1 through back loop, purl 2, and then now you have just 5 knits. Later it'll be a cable, but right now those are just knits. That's 6 knits, sorry. And then I repeat the thing I had before, the 2 purls, the knit through the back, and the 2 purls. Now I'm knitting continentally, but you know however you knit, the reading the chart part is the same. Okay, now I'm up to this cable. I have knit 3 before the cable. And you'll notice that we have color-coded our cable symbol. All the ones that are the same color. So I go over here to my key and I can see not only from which way the lines slant, but from the color that this is the slip 3 stitches to cable needle and hold in back, knit 3 from cable needle. The opposite one is colored in purple. If you find a chart that doesn't have the colors, which happens a lot, look at the key, find the whole symbol, and color them in yourself because it can be really helpful. So now let's do the cable. It was slip 3 stitches to cable needle and hold in back. Knit 3. Knit 3 from cable needle. I like to slip them back onto this. I could have knitted them directly from the cable needle. And knit them. Then we see again, purl, knit and back, purl, knit through back loop. And we're up to the purple cable, the opposite one. Slip 3 stitches to cable needle and hold in front. Knit 3 from cable needle. This time, just for you, I will knit them off the cable needle directly to show you that either one is fine, just what you're comfortable with. Then I have knit 3, And the rest you're very familiar with. Purl, purl, knit through back loop, purl, purl, knit 6, so on. So on this right hand row, I've worked from the right side to the left side, just as you do when you're working. Knit 6. Okay, now I'm going to change my sticky to cover the row I just did and put it right under the row I am about to do. You can notice my sticky's not long enough to go all the way across. I find it easy enough to keep my eye across. Magnet boards are also really great for this. You have a metal board underneath the paper and a magnet on top, and it just helps you keep your eye on what you're looking at. So even though this is a wrong side row, it's worth looking at. Actually, I don't want to cover the key, do I? This will help you out. Okay, so the first two are the squares. We're on the wrong side, so we're going to knit them. So knit, knit, the chevron on the wrong side, purl through back loop on wrong side. So I turn to work over. Now on this row, you'll notice we're working from left to right. So it's a little harder to wrap your mind around, but it's important to show the graph this way because you can really see what the knitted piece is going to be like. If we always went from right to left on the graph, which there are some graphs that do, but Barocco never does that, then it gives you an outline of what you're doing, but it doesn't show you what the piece looks like afterwards. And our chart really is an indication of what the piece looks like. Okay, so I will knit, knit, purl through back loop. Knit, knit, purl through back loop, knit, knit, and so on until I finish the row. Okay, now I'm ready for the third row. Let's move the sticky. It says row 3, working from right to left, same symbols as before. You get really used to looking at these symbols and knowing a lot of times a dot, and always in the Barocco patterns a square or a dot is a purl on the right side. The reason we keep the symbol the same for the wrong side row is that even though it's knit on the wrong side row, the right side row looks like a purl. So as I said before, we keep the chart looking like the work. So purl, purl, knit through back loop, purl, purl. Now we're ready for this cable, which was the slip 3 hold in back, slip 3 stitches to cable needle and hold in back, knit 3 from cable needle. Put the back on my left hand needle. Knit 3. There are some charts that have more symbols, like this one. See how many colors there are. Even though this is a fairly complicated cable, the chart makes it easy because it's clearly defined what you do for each thing when you get to it. So if you just approach it with a level head, you can do this fairly complicated cable as easily as you can do the simple cable that we just did.